have the most kills by the end. To be the carry, the assassin, the mage. One role there's to be different. To be the ultimate assist guy, the greatest role player. Doubles the action, triples the excitement, but fully safe. Help content kill. One bad order, one mission, one desire. Artist Puller in Arena of Valor. Alright. Welcome back to another How to Play a Role video here in the Arcana Gaming channel, where we educate the newbies instead of shaming them, because that helps everyone in the community for the long run. So anyway, today we're going to discuss tanks, one of my favorite roles to play. And if you've been playing solo, probably play this role a lot, especially if you're the one to pick the last character. So how do you play the tanks? First off, let's start with the roles. The role of a tank is the initiator in team fights. Also, you should have the highest HP, magic defense, and armor among all the classes, because you're going to take the brunt of the damage. So you also act as protector to protect your squishy backline from damage. Aside from that, you also need to crowd control. So most tanks have a skill that controls the enemies. Once you initiate with a crowd control skill, that would be best. Okay, for Arcana, I would suggest you get some HP region Arcanas out there, even if they're not tier 3s. You know why? Because HP, armor, magic defense, those can be bought through equipments, but HP regen, I think there's only 2 equipments that gives them, and they're also in very small amounts only, and they're expensive, especially the amulet. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the guide.
Freedom is hard fought.
Okay, so let's start with recommended equipments. Bear in mind that tanks have the most HP among all the classes out there in the game. So the equipments I'm going to recommend are those that have passives with HP percentage factored in. First one is Gaia Standard, gives you 180 magic defense, 1100 maximum HP additional, and it makes you move faster for an additional 5%. The passive is regenerate, so it gives you or restores you 8% of your HP whenever you take damage over the next 2 seconds. So that's about 5 to 6 ticks. Imagine if you have 10,000 HP, you get 800 times 5 or times 6 in the next 2 seconds when you regenerate. Really helps you in sustaining yourself through the laning phase together with your marksman. Or if you're in solo top, makes you sustain better there. Anyway, the next item or equipment is Ancestral Glory. Gives you additional 1000 HP. Plus, it revives you in the next 3 seconds after you die with 40% HP. So imagine a bunch of opponents are trying to gang up on you, and they had difficulty killing you up because of your tank ability, only for you to revive with almost half of your HP. So if you have some crew coming in with you, they probably kill off the rest of the opponents by then. Okay, for the talents that I would recommend, the first would be Heal. It gives you and nearby teammates 50% HP back instantaneously. It's not like regen. And also gives you an additional 15% movement speed for the next 2 seconds. Very handy if you want to escape. And this is an all-around good item for every roles, but it will also benefit the tank the most because of the 15% HP. Next is Daze. It will stun nearby enemies for 0.5 seconds. Remember, one of the roles of the tank is to control the crowd or crowd control. And it also reduces the movement speed of those opponents that are hit by daze for an additional 1 second. It helps you contain the battle. And the last would be flicker. It teleports you over a short distance, so very useful if you're setting them up for a crowd control, like Minotaur's ultimate.
Okay, so let's move on to the practical tips. One is check the team's composition. So you can check the opponent's composition, check if there are more mage or more ADs, so you can build towards armor or magic defense. Also, you need to check your own team's composition to check if there's already a support or there's two tanks or maybe one warrior and you're the tank. Then make adjustments as necessary. Because number two, if a support or another tank runs with the marksman, you need to solo the top lane. Alright? So just like in this game, you can see that there's a Diao Chan already supporting the Valheim. And apparently one of the other tanks are supporting the mage in the middle. So I need to take the solo top. I mean, all you need to do here is farm in the top lanes. Farm and stay safe, stay alive. That's all you need to do here until you're ready for the clash. Otherwise, you play the bodyguard role in the bottom lane with the marksman. You heard me right, the bodyguard role, just like Kevin Costner is to Whitney Houston or Ashton Kutcher, or sorry, not Ashton Kutcher there. Who's that guy in Deadpool? Ryan Reynolds to Samuel L. Jackson in their movies. That's what you're going to do. You're just like a babysitter here in the bottom lane. All you need to do is protect the marksman, help him get fat, because a dead marksman is not leveling up or gaining experience. That's what you do. There are two things that you can do to help the marksman survive. Okay? As you can see here, just let him finish up most of those monsters and minions. If it helps, let him have the last hit, as always, so he'll have the higher experience, the coins. He can buy his equipments. Alright, so let's go to those two tips to protect the marksman. The first is by literally being a meat shield. There you go, just acting as a meat shield. Meaning you just take the damage that is meant for your marksman. You can handle it, trust me, because you're very tough. You have a lot of HP, you have a lot of defense from the get-go by default. Just take the damage for him. The second is more advanced. It's called peeling. So you peel off the attackers from your marksman when they lock down to your marksman. You use crowd control. You push, you pull, or you just stun them in place so the marksman can get away. Okay, tip number 4 is help your marksman get the might buff. There are two reasons why you need to do so. The first is to take down the might golem faster. The second is to protect them from attacks, like from counter junglers. Also, just remember to let the marksman have the last hit on the might golem, so they can get the buff, not you. Alright? Tip number 5 is tanking the abyssal dragon and the dark slayer. Just like a classic RPG game. Yeah, that's right. You just need to take the damage for your team. While your damagers hit them, you tank the damage for these objectives in the game. Tip number 6, initiate team clashes. This is your bread and butter right here. The reason why you're picked for a team. So always start up the game to make sure that you will get all the crowd control from mages and support and not your squishy teammates. And if you do have your own crowd control, so you can initiate with that. And then your opponent's squishies will be sitting ducks for your teammates, for your damage dealers. So don't be afraid to use crowd control, even if it's your ultimate. Just fire it up right away once you get into the fray. Right? Also, additional tip, always advise your teammates to never engage without you because they need you when it comes to team fights. Although the last tip is don't fear death, but don't die needlessly either. Alright? So as a tank, you should be the brave one, always the first one in. But you shouldn't just die needlessly all the time for every clash. It's better if you die, but you take 3 or 4 opponents with you. That will ensure your victory. There's nothing more disappointing than having a tank teammate who doesn't want to engage because they're too scared to die. Maybe they're built wrong. They're built squishy. That's why. So just follow these tips and pretty soon you'll no longer be a newbie. Hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for the next installment. Arcana is out.
My return.